All right. Hey, going live here. I'm actually in a public library. And what's kind of funny is when I was a kid, you couldn't talk in libraries, but now everybody's talking. I mean, people are on the phone, people are having full on conversations. So, the reason I wanted to come on here today and go live, just wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm here, and by here being on YouTube, and why I'm sharing what I know about financial education. Now, I'm not only a YouTuber and financial writer, I write for US News and World Report mostly these days. Also, I write for TheStreet.com a little bit, Investors Business Daily for years, Morningstar Magazine, I wrote for them, several other places. But people need the financial help right now. Things can be pretty complicated, and I enjoy helping people make the right decisions when it comes to their retirement, helping people retire and stay retired. I used to have a joke about you don't want to be eating ramen noodles, and that's true. What that means is you don't want to be in retirement and kind of scrimping and saving and having to worry so much about that. Now, this is not the same as the finance bros, the stock bros that you find on YouTube. A bunch of people that like to argue the finer points of trading, give their opinions about investing. And I mean, they've never worked with actual clients. And I have gotten a lot of those recently on a video that I posted that for some reason, it blew up. But there are a lot of comments from what I would consider to be the finance bros in there. On YouTube, people just love to argue this, and that misses the entire point of retirement investing, which is really all about finding an allocation that works for you, that will help you meet your goals and sustain your lifestyle for decades, maybe as much as 30 years or so. Okay, right? And unfortunately, I find, and I think this is a little bit a fault of maybe the industry itself, a little bit of fault of the stock bros that you see out there. A lot of women, and I've worked with a lot of women and couples, a lot of guys too. A lot of women who have come to me as uh, who did. I want to make sure that my mic is on here. I guess it is. Yeah, okay. I guess it is. Um, that would be funny if I was on here live and the mic was turned off. I'm experimenting with this for the first time today, if you can't tell. So a lot of women, when they would come to my financial advisory firm, they would apologize for not knowing much about the process of investing and about how to secure their own retirements. And that's really unfortunate. And I think again, you see these what I call the finance bros, and what they are is, these younger guys mostly, who do like to get on there and give their opinions. And I think a lot of the women who have done other things in their careers or been stay-at-home moms or whatever, you're not up to speed on that stuff. They don't trade stocks as a hobby for the most part. Okay. So, a little story here. A client told me several years ago, it was actually a couple, husband and wife, who were my clients. The husband actually found me from TheStreet.com. He had found my writing there, and they contacted us, became clients. It's funny because his wife said to me in a private conversation I was having with her, she said, "Oh, David really knows what he's doing with investing." And then later, I was actually talking to David on a call. I usually talk to couples together, actually, but I think we were maybe doing some transfers of IRAs that didn't require both of them to be on the call at the same time. And then David said to me in a subsequent call, he said, "I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I hired you, but let her think I know what I'm doing." And he did know what he was doing because he hired our firm, actually. So kudos to him. So, why am I in this business? It's just a great way to help people I'm really finding it makes a difference in people's lives. And I don't expect that you should understand everything that goes into financial planning, like the investments, the withdrawal orders, the tax implications. And here's sort of an analogy you hear a lot. You know, if I need a plumber or an electrician in my house, I'm going to call them. I'm not going to try to rewire my house myself, okay? Had an electrician out there a few months ago to look at some things. I wasn't going to do that myself, okay? Right? A lawyer is another example, right? If you need an attorney, I know that there are the people that try to get through this themselves, represent themselves, but I have, for business reasons, business purposes, I've had a reason I've needed to have an attorney just to work out some business contractual items for me. I could not have done that myself, and I could not have pretended to. Okay. So those are examples. And I think when you approach a financial advisor, a lot of times people have no idea whether or not they're prepared to retire. Now, usually it's on the low end, right, of people who maybe don't have enough money and have no idea how to kind of make that connection between the money they have, how to make an account grow, and what their spending needs in retirement will be. And I guess the fourth piece is how long that has to last in retirement. They have no idea about that. And again, you're not supposed to, really. But I do think that maybe a lot of Americans are a little bit innumerate and kind of don't understand if you have $1,000 or $100,000 or not thousand, if you have $100,000 in your IRA, that's not enough to retire on. And unfortunately, I have had people, in their early 60s who have come to me with very low account values like that. And that is a low account value if you want to retire. If you're mid career, earlier in your career, no, that's not a low account value. But for somebody that wants to retire in a couple years, it certainly is. So that's where I come in and help. For somebody like that, I would think of some things to do. Maybe you got to sell your house. Maybe you got to downsize. Maybe you probably need to work more and be frugal. There are things you can do. Maybe there are ways to generate some income in a guaranteed way. A lot of things you can talk about here. I've also seen people though on the high end who had saved several $1,000,000 just by, again, being frugal, ordinary people who saved throughout their entire careers, but had no idea if they were actually prepared to retire or not. So, a lot more goes into these retirement decisions and plans than what you're invested in. Now, I know that I've probably erred on the side with my YouTube channel that it's been focused on stocks, funds, investing. Those are things that get a lot of views. Those are the things that the finance bros really like. Let me just check something on here. Okay. Yeah, those are some things that kind of the people that enjoy the trading really like. I'm not here to talk to the finance bros, okay? I'm here to talk to the people that are trying to figure out how do I allocate my assets in the right buckets so my money lasts throughout retirement? What are some of the mistakes I can avoid? Give you an example. It's kind of funny. I've been thinking about this today. I'm working on an article right now for US News and World Report. Has not been published yet because it's not actually written yet, but I've been working on it. Now all of these articles are SEO driven. They need to get the eyeballs. We're not talking deep dive journalism or anything of that nature here. But I do like to do a lot of research on these, get some comments from people in the industry, and frankly work in my own viewpoint where I can in terms of the reporting I'm doing here. So I'm doing a story right now on whether you should hold crypto in your 401k. Okay. Now, as a financial advisor, I'm going to go ahead and say absolutely not. That is speculative. And remember, the goal of your retirement portfolio is not to make as much money as possible. I know people think that make as much money as possible. What that involves is taking a lot of risk, more risk than most people should actually be taking in retirement. That's the problem with putting crypto in there. Do I object to owning some crypto somewhere? I consider it fun money. Yay you. If you do make some money on that, fabulous. But mainstream reputable financial advisors, financial planners will tell you right now that it is just too speculative to include in your retirement account. So the investments you hold and the order in which you withdraw them, the way you think about the tax implications, where they're located, if you're using a taxable account, a retirement account like an IRA, all of this goes into the formula of making your money last. And sometimes, like I mentioned a minute ago, sometimes there are decisions like, do I need to sell my home and downsize? Do I need to spend less money? Maybe take fewer vacations than I had hoped. Some of these are actually real items in the plan, right? So that's all of what goes into it, not about, hey, what's your return on this particular stock? I mean, yes, you do look at expected returns of your investment portfolio, absolutely, but it's designed specifically for you, not just to say, "Oh my gosh, I think Nvidia is going to go higher again this year. Let's load up on Nvidia." And that's not how it works, okay? So I know I'm saying a lot here. I feel very passionate about some of this. I get off track a little bit. I'm really speaking from the heart today because I feel like a lot of people can get led astray by either believing that their retirement planning and investing is so complicated that they can't understand it at all and they just give up and don't even want to talk to anybody about it because they're embarrassed, okay? And then the second thing, though, is if they do talk to somebody, that they apologize for not understanding. So I just wanted to say that. There's a lot more things that go into this, but this is kind of the first time I'm trying to go live here. I've got a lot of produced videos on YouTube. You can take a look at those on my channel. Um, and I will be back with some more lives. I want to do this more often. And the next time I will come back, I will answer some questions that come in because I get a lot of questions on email, comments on my other YouTube videos about asset allocation, planning, and I will come back. I will answer those. But for now, those are the things that I wanted to say. And yeah, nobody has come up and said anything to me for talking in the public library. Somebody was right over there. She didn't even look. I think it's a whole different world from when I was a kid. And the reason I'm in the library is because I'm waiting for my girlfriend who is showing at an art exhibit at the community center right across the hall. So that's going to be over in about another 10 minutes. It's a great exhibit. It's the Penfield Art Association, Penfield, New York. So, okay, I've said enough. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe, and I will bring you a lot more information about retirement that has nothing to do with fast stock trading, trying to time the market. Okay, thank you.